Hello everyone, this is Deepa Parekh. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Learn Anywhere, Anytime. Today we'll start with exercise 1.2 of chapter 1 named Integers. Let's start with question number 1. And it is, write down a pair of integers whose, there are 3 sub-questions asked under this. The first sub-question here is, sum is minus 7. So here we have to write a pair of integers whose sum is minus 7. So what do you think would be the answer? Yes, sum means we have to add. So it could be, say, minus 10 plus 3. Now how can you get this minus 7 as the answer? As we have learnt earlier, there is one positive and one negative integer. We need to find the difference of them with the sign of a bigger number. So here, what sign does the bigger number have? The negative sign. And since one number is negative and one number is positive, we will subtract. We need to find the difference between them. So what is the answer we are getting here? It is minus 7. Correct? So what is the answer for this question? Write down a pair of the integers whose sum is minus 7. Answer is minus 10 plus 3. Clear? Now let's move to the next question. The next sub question which is asked here is, difference is minus 10, which means write down a pair of integers whose difference is minus 10. So difference means subtraction. So what would be the case? So considering this, we can say it is minus 6 minus 4. Got it? Minus 6 minus 4. Now why minus 6 minus 4? The difference. So of course we need to subtract. Okay? And we need to get the answer as minus 10. So for that, the bigger number should be a negative integer, correct? And since it is a difference and we need to get the answer as minus 10, minus 6 and minus 4 will give you the answer minus 10. Why? Because if both the negative integers are there, we need to add and put the minus sign. Clear? So minus 6 minus 4 is the answer. The third question, sub-question is, sum is 0. Very clear. Anything, say minus 3 plus 3, because it is sum. So we have to add minus 3 and plus 3, or say minus 1 plus 1. The answer will be 0. Why? Because minus 3 and plus 3 is 0. Clear? So this was the answer of the first question. This exercise is very easy. It can be sorted very quickly, right? Now let's move to the second question of exercise 1.2. And the second question says, there are also 3 sub-questions under the second question. We'll start with the first sub-question. The question says, write a pair of negative integers whose difference gives minus 8. We have to write here negative integers, pair of negative integers whose difference means you have to minus, okay, gives 8. So now what would be the pair? Such pair could be, say, minus 2 minus 10, or we can say minus 2 minus, I'll write it with another pen so that it would be seen clearly, minus 2 minus 10, right? This could be the answer. Why? When negative and negative happens, it comes to positive. So what will be here? Minus 2 plus 10. Ultimately, we have started with the difference. Why? Because it was to find the difference. So we have started with the subtraction. Now, after calculating this, minus and minus becomes positive. And since we have to get the answer in positive, it would be minus 2 and plus 10. So what we have to do here? Find the difference and put the sign of the bigger number. So what is the sign of the bigger number here? Positive. So what would be the answer? 8. So ultimately, what is the answer? Write a pair of negative integers whose difference is 8. So answer here is minus 2 minus 10. Clear? Now second sub question is, write a negative integer and a positive integer whose sum is minus 5. So clear on this? It is very easy. Say minus 10 plus 5. Simple. Why? Because minus 10 and plus 5. So we need to find the difference, right? And put the sign of the negative integer. So since here the answer is a negative integer, what would come? The bigger number will have the negative integer here, the minus sign here. So you will get the answer as minus 5 as desired. So what is the answer for this one? Write a negative integer and a positive integer whose sum is minus 5. The answer would be minus 10 plus 5. Clear? Next question. Write a negative integer and a positive integer whose difference is minus 3. So here earlier was the sum and now here is the difference. So what could be the answer? The answer could be minus 1 minus 2. Simple. Why? Answer is in negative and that is again 3. So minus 1 minus 2, both are minus sign. So we have to add and put the minus sign. So you will get the answer as minus 3. So what is the answer here? Minus 1 minus 2. Clear? So here we have also completed the second question. We saw 3 sub questions under that. I hope it is clear. Now we'll move to question number 3. Now in question number 3 it asks, in a quiz, team A scored minus 40, 10, 0 and team B scored 10, 0 and minus 40 in 3 successive rounds. Which team scored more? Can we say that? I think I've written it twice. Can we say that we can add negative integers in any order? So that is what it is asked. Now what does this question mean? There was a quiz competition going on in which there were 2 teams, team A and team B. Now there were 3 rounds happened on that. Okay, the team A scored minus 40, 10 and 0. These were their consecutive scores. And the team B scored 10, 0 and minus 4. Okay, so what is the first question asked here? There are 2 questions here. The first question here is, which team scored more? Now since this is a word problem, let's write the statement here. Marks scored by, we'll write with this pen. Marks scored by team A is equals to minus 40, 10 and 0. Okay. Now what have they asked? Which team scored more? So we will have to find the scores of each team. Okay. So what we will do? Minus 40 plus 10 plus 0. Why? Since these 2 don't have sign in before by default. So minus 40 plus 10 and 0. Now since this minus 40 and plus 10, minus and plus, what we have to do? We have to find the difference and write the sign of put the sign of a bigger number. So minus 40 and plus 10 will give you answer minus 30. Clear? So the first team scored minus 30. Now let's see the marks of team B. So here we can write, therefore marks of team A, total marks of team A, or you can write marks of team A, that is minus 30. Now the next would be marks scored by team B. Now what are their marks? It is 10, 0 and minus 40. Okay. Therefore total marks scored by team B, which is equals to 10 plus 0 minus 40. Okay. So what you will get the answer here? This you will get the same answer since 0 का तो कोई value नहीं, 10 and 40. One is negative, one is positive. So you'll find the difference and put the sign of a bigger number. So here also the answer you got is minus 30. So what is the question asked? Which team scored more? Both A and B got the same marks. Okay, so that's the answer of the first question. Can we say that we can add integers in any order? Yes, because addition is there. So you can add integers in any order. You can either take this minus 40 first and then you can write plus 10, or you can write first plus 10 here and then minus 40. So you can add any integers in any order. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. So we have now completed question number 3. Now we'll look to the next question, that is question number 4, which is the last question of exercise 1.2, and it is a fill in the blanks here. Fill in the blanks to make the following statements true. Before we look into this fill in the blanks, there are 3 important topics which we need to cover, just small topics on the basis of which this fill in the blanks is based on. Okay, it will be very easy for you to understand. Here there are 3 types of properties which we need to understand before doing this fill-ups. Okay, so first type of property is communicative property. Now what do you mean by communicative property? The communicative property states A plus B is equals to B plus A. A plus B is equals to B plus A. Now what do you mean by A? What does this mean? Which means that any positive integers when added together, it can be either added in this form. We'll get the same answer when you add it in this form. Let's see with the example to make it very clear. Say suppose, or you can say it would be a positive integer or a negative integer. We will see the case of both. Now we'll start with the positive integer, simple. Say 3 plus 5 is equals to 5 plus 3. Okay, 3 plus 5 is equals to 5 plus 3. Both the cases you will get the same answer, right? 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 3 is 8. So here we can say that A plus B is equals to B plus A. The answer would be the same. Now if we take the case of negative integers, why? Because we are adding. Okay, so in that case addition can be called as communicative property. Okay, now say for example in case of negative integers, say minus 8 plus minus 9. You will get the same answer when you do B plus A, that is minus 9 plus minus 8. Okay, now why? See, minus 8 and minus 9. So since this minus and plus will become minus and this here. So what we'll get here is, just to calculate this, in the base part, say minus 8 plus and minus becomes minus. So you'll get here minus 9 and which is equals to what we wrote here, minus 9. 8 and 9 becomes, positive and negative becomes negative 8. So what will be the answer here? Minus 8 and minus 9. Since there are 2 negative integers, we need to add and put the minus sign. 9 plus 8 is 17. Okay, minus 17. And here also if we see, minus and minus becomes, it will be minus, but we have to add and put the minus sign. So 9 and 8. 9 plus 8 is 17 with a negative sign. So here we saw both the answers are equal. So we can say that the addition is communicative for the integers. So this is what the first statement means. A plus B is equals to B plus A. Clear? The next property we need to understand is the associative property. Now what does this associative property states? It says that A plus in bracket B plus C will be the same as in bracket A plus B plus C. Okay, now if we see that with the example, we can say that minus 3 plus 1 plus say minus 7 should be equal to minus 3 plus 1 plus minus 7. Okay, see, positive integers, of course it will be the same. That's why I'm just showing you with the negative integers so that we can be clear, and it will be easy for doing that fill in the blanks. Okay, so here if we start calculating this, see, we'll use a different pen so that you know. So say minus 3, so this minus 3 will be brought here, plus minus 7 and 1. Now this negative and positive becomes negative, so 7 minus 1 is minus 6, should be equal to minus 3 and plus 1. So since 1 minus and 1 plus, the answer would be minus 2 plus this minus 7. Clear? Now what will be the answer here? Minus 3 and minus 3 plus minus 6. So again this minus and minus becomes, sorry, minus and plus becomes minus. So here minus 3 minus 6 is equals to minus 2. Again plus and minus becomes minus, minus 7. Now this minus 3 and minus 6 both are negative integers. So we'll get the answer as minus 6 plus 3 is 9. And here also minus 2 and minus 7 both are negative integers. So here also 7 plus 2 is 9. Both are equal. Okay. So this is called associative property, where this A plus bracket B plus C is same as or is equal to bracket A plus B plus C. Clear? Last but not the least, we need to understand is the additive identity. Now what do you mean by additive identity? Additive identity states when we add 0 to a whole number, we get the same whole number. That is, A plus 0 is equals to A, which would be same as 0 plus A. That is, when we add a 0 to any whole number, we get the same whole number. Okay, so either it could be A plus 0 or it could be 0 plus A. Now if say for example we give a value to A, say suppose example minus 8 plus 0, that is A plus 0. Now minus 8 plus 0 is what? Simple, minus 8. So any number which is added with the 0 will give you the same number. Clear? In the same way we can also write this as 0 plus minus 8. Here also y plus and minus will be the minus sign. You will get the same answer. Clear? So understood these three properties. Now let's move to this fill in the blanks of exercise 1.2, which is the question number 4. Now see here, minus 5 plus minus 8 is equals to minus 8 plus, what will be the answer? Minus 5. Now this belongs to which type of property we studied? It is communicative property, where A plus B is equals to B plus A. Remember? Recollected? Clear. Now minus 53 plus dash is equals to minus 53. Which type of property would be this? Yes, it is an additive identity property. So minus 53 plus 0 is equals to minus 53. Clear? Third sub question, 17 plus dash is equals to 0. Now what would be the answer here? What plus what is equals to 0? Yes, 17 plus minus 17 is equals to 0. This again falls in additive property. Plus 17 and minus 17 will get the answer as 0. Clear? Now minus 13 plus minus 12 plus dash is equals to 13 plus minus 12 plus minus 7. So what would this fill in the blanks fill here? Yes, the answer is minus 7. and this falls under which property? Associative property. Clear? Last but not the least, the fifth sub question. -4 plus 15 plus -3 is equals to -4 plus 15 plus dash. So what would be the answer here? It will be -3. Clear? This is again which type of property? Associative property. I hope this is clearly understood by everyone, and this was the last question of exercise 1.2 of chapter 1. I hope this is very clear to all, and if you have yet not subscribed my channel, request you all to please subscribe, like and share. Thank you. Bye-bye.